loan coaching friend. 702-670-0518 to get pre-approved for a home loan. Whether you're looking to purchase your dream home, second home, or refinance to pull cash out, the coach can do it all. And the coaching is free. Again, that number is 702-670-0518. Yeah, the home loan coaching friend.
Good morning. This is Tim Haskins, the home loan coach, coming at you this morning, Sunday morning, 7 a.m. from 91.5 KUNV. I trust that you're having a blessed Sunday morning, and I have a great show for you today. As you all know, if you've been listening, I am the branch manager for Legacy Home Loans Las Vegas branch. We got a treat for you today. We got the senior VP in the house of Legacy Home Loans. So you don't get to hear just from me how great Legacy is. You get to hear from the senior VP who carries the torch to make this company great. So without any further ado, we're going to get started. I'm going to introduce Mr. Nick Goucher, the great Nick Goucher from Legacy Home Loans, Senior VP. Nick, say good morning to the Las Vegas people.
Good morning. Blessed Sunday, family. How are you? I pray that you started your day off with a phenomenal blessing. I'm excited to be here.
Great. So I want to start with a praise report. You know, it's Sunday morning. Let's have a praise report.
I love that. Let me hear it.
Praise report. And then, we're going to let Nick talk about Legacy and what we're doing, some great things across the country. But I want to talk about this praise report because it talks to first-time home buyers, single mothers, talks to real estate agents. So this is a good one here. I like to give good news of what we're doing in the community. So I have a real estate agent that I've been doing her loans for her family for many years. Before she was a real estate agent, I did for her mother, her sisters, her cousins. And she's been a faithful client of mine. And then she became a realtor. So, of course, she sends her clients to me. And we have a lady looking to purchase a home, single mother, first-time home buyer. And she goes and, she listened to Uncle Joe, Aunt Susie, all these people that don't have professional licenses, and said, hey, I'm going to go with this other lender. So she went with the other lender, and her agent contacted me several times throughout because we're doing other business together. She says, Tim, I wish you hadn't went away from you. The deal's still not done. 30 days goes by. 60 days goes by. She says, Tim, will you take her back? I know she was, disrespectful and loyal and left you, but will you take her back? I said, yes, I'll take her back. So I take her back. The deal that she was in, the lender couldn't get it done. So the deal fell through. So the agent had to go out for a second time and find her a home. Took her out to find her a home. And, in our industry, we do what we call a cross-qualification. And the paperwork went over to the other lender. And this is a town, I spent many years in. I raised my family in Lancaster, California. So, I'm not only speaking to you from Las Vegas, but we do loans across the country. I still do a lot of loans in Southern California where I was raised, Pasadena, California. Shout out to Pasadena, Antelope Valley, where I raised my family at. So I knew this lender, and they said that my client wasn't qualified to purchase the house, and they weren't going to put their blessing on it for us to move forward. So I had my processor give their processor a call, and she couldn't get anywhere. So she called me and said, Tim, they're not listening. So I got on the phone and asked to speak to the branch manager over at the lending company. Branch manager wouldn't get on the call with me, basically said, no, we can't approve our seller to move forward with selling this home to your buyer. So, okay, sad, but my agent had to go out and find this person a home for the third time. So she went and found her a home for the third time, and we got into contract. And to make a long story short, this person gets their keys. We got their keys this week.
Wow.
And it gets better. It gets better. We put her on a program where we got her $29,800 in forgivable assistance. So she closed on her home with going to escrow. She had to come into escrow with $1,600. So that's the praise report today. And like I said, that speaks to first-time home buyers. If that's you, you need to contact the coach for more information on how to take advantage of these programs. The number is 702-670-0518. That's 702-670-0518. And if you are ready to just jump in there, you can go to HaskinsTeamHomeLoans.com, HaskinsTeamHomeLoans.com, and put your application in. So, as I stated, first-time home buyer, single mother, listen to Uncle Joe and Aunt Susie, cousin so-and-so about what they should do, and not the real estate professional. Had to pay the price and the consequence and come back to the coach to get the job done. Not only did the coach get the job done, but the coach got her $29,800 in assistance, forgivable assistance, and she came to escrow with $1,600 to close on her home. So the lesson to the agents out there, if you want to partner with the home loan coach and his team, you know what to do. For more information on contacting and partnering, it's 702-670-0518. If you want a loan team that can get it done for you, I'm here for you. For my town, Lancaster, you guys all want to say, hey, we want the local lender. When you're talking to big bank so-and-so, and I'm not going to say any names, when you're talking to them, you don't know where they sit. They sit all across the country. So treat me with the same way. It doesn't matter where I sit. I can close a loan anywhere in the country. Doesn't matter. I am local. I lived there for many years. So I want to send that message to you as well. So that's the praise report. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that praise report. That is
a blessing, brother. Absolutely blessing. Congratulations, Tim. Yeah. And to your client, too.
Thank you, Nick. So one of the leadership of Legacy Home Loans is here with us today, Nick. He introduced himself already this morning, and he makes it all possible for me to do the things that I do to facilitate these loans, because there's a lot of stuff that goes in behind the scenes and things that have to be done. I like to utilize my 20 years of experience to help navigate the loan process, but a lot of you don't know what it takes behind the scenes. There's processors, underwriters, loan setup personnel, there's secondary marketing stuff that would probably bore you, but you need to know that there's a lot that goes into a loan operation. And Nick, we got some great stuff going on with Legacy Home Loans, and I talk to the people every week. We got you here today, so let's not bore them with what I have to talk about. You go ahead and let us know about Legacy Home Loans and what you do.
Absolutely. I think I do want to bring it back to that praise report if I can, because I'm sure that on this time you have with people, you tend to let your friends talk about what they're doing, and you kind of give them the platform, and you use this segment to go over your praise report. But I think that the biggest thing that Legacy has done is we found leaders like you. That's important reference, because that story speaks to the resilience, speaks to the commitment of getting the job done for our community. And if you think about the story of what you had to do, there's a better than likely chance that person would not become a homeowner if it was not for you.
Thank you.
I mean, just think about that client, right? She didn't know the ins and outs of the home loan process.
Right.
The fact that you had to fight, I think that for us is really important that we recognize that we, Legacy Home Loans, have really built a mission about finding leaders like you across the country who have shared vision, shared passion, shared commitment and resilience to fight for our community. And you did that. And the beauty is that you represent one of many leaders at Legacy Home Loans that have decided to join us in this fight to close the wealth gap for our community. And I think that the best thing that we have done is we've been able to partner and to serve leaders like you. Awesome. And so the idea that you are fighting on the front line, bringing people to an organization that can help facilitate a smooth closing transaction behind the scenes, I think represents the excellence of what we can do together. And so I would say Legacy Home Loans essentially is really committed to that crusade. We have built an organization that's been focused on closing the gap for the African American community. This vision started 4 years ago from our founder, Ben Slayton, who saw a report. For those of you who have any interest, if you go to Google right now and you put in the road to zero wealth, it was an actual report that was published in September of 2017 by a think tank in DC called Prosperity Now. And they looked at the growing wealth divide in this country. And they said if the wealth gap continues without any serious change in recourse, the average black family is on a road to have negative wealth by 2053. That's in 11,000 days.
Wow.
And so Ben Slayton, 4 months later, decided to build a company that was going to do something about that. That's what we're doing.
Awesome. I hope you guys heard that. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have Nick Goucher come in, because he, like I said, he carries the torch and the passion along with the rest of us leaders across the country to help close that wealth gap. But he puts it so eloquently. and we can't just pass over our fearless leader, Ben Slayton. I've talked to him I've talked to you guys about him many times on the show, but he's legendary, a trailblazer. And, I wanted you guys to hear it directly from upper management, what the mission is, what we're trying to do. And, we're here to serve everyone, but we have an emphasis on closing that wealth gap and carrying out Mr. Ben Slayton's mission to do that. And I want to, again, thank you, Nick, for coming in and talking to the Las Vegas community.
My pleasure.
Across the country. This will be out on social media as well. You can go to the Home Loan Coaching Friends Facebook page. And we're going to also have recorded testimony from the agents that the Home Loan Coach and his team have helped, like this lady we talked about on the praise report. We're going to have that out so you can hear directly from the agents, the actual homeowners, so that, you don't just think I'm here talking. We're going to have them come out and really, really let you know what we're doing for the communities and closing that gap. So, Nick, question. I know we have a lot of great things going on across the country. Let's talk about what we have to do to really, really make these loans come to fruition for our clients. What is some of the behind the scenes work that has to be done to get this done? I know it's a lot.
I'll tell you honestly, the hardest thing to do is find right leadership. Okay. Because you have to be able to go to the market with a great reputation. In Legacy Home Loans, we built our reputation on the back of our leaders. And so we've been very clear and concise on finding the right leadership like yourself across the country. Because without the client, there is no business. And so that's really important to reference. With regard to a mortgage company, I think that most people may not know the difference between a mortgage, let's say, broker and a mortgage company. A mortgage company facilitates the entire transaction from beginning to end. So not only are there sales professionals like yourself as a leader, but you have loan officers who help, you build out your market. Then you have operations. You have people who help facilitate that loan actually closing to make sure it's a smooth process. So you got minimum of 4 or 5 employees behind the scenes. You got junior processor, you got loan setup, you got a processor, got an underwriter, and you got a closer. So you got 6 people behind a person like yourself doing that transaction. After the transaction closes, this is really important, is that in a mortgage company, let's say that client who bought a property, right? The one who you mentioned?
Yes.
What was their purchase price?
$350,000.
Okay. So what happens is Legacy Home Loans basically has to deliver funding for the loan, right? So the client brought in $2,000 basically. Right. So Legacy had to give $300,000, let's just say. Right. Okay. Well, how do we come up with that kind of capital? So mortgage companies basically have really big credit cards. Like you have a credit card in your pocket now, and your limit might be $10,000, right? Well, our credit card might be $10 million. So it allows us to essentially advance the funding to purchase that property. But now we have this liability on our hands that we have to be able to deliver to what they call a secondary market called capital markets, so we can do more loans for more people. If you look at $10 million, that's probably about 50? That's about 30 loans per se we can do for every $300,000. So there's a capital market behind a mortgage company that you can facilitate purchasing these loans from, so we can do more of these loans. And so there's an entire engine behind a mortgage company that delivers liquidity in the marketplace.
So for those of you who are ever interested in that, you got a quick lesson on it. But what I want to talk about now is the hot topic in all the news channels, and, is the rates. Everyone's concerned about the rates. Mainstream media is saying that, rates are high. Again, we're going to go back to Uncle Joe and Aunt Susie may say, hey, it's not a good time to buy. I just had a conversation with someone who called in, and a young lady called in and wanted to purchase a home. And, she had her dad on the line, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I love family support. And dad is saying, well, let's wait. I think let's wait to buy a house. And I said, well, respectfully, sir, if you want to, advise your daughter to wait, I understand. I'm here. I'll be here next year. I'm here now. But let me tell you what my opinion is on that. What are you waiting for? Well, we're waiting for the rates to go down. Okay. Well, we just came off of historical low rates. So let's talk about what happened when rates were in 2% and 3%. People, if you wanted to put an offering on a home for $350, in order for you to win that bid, you may have had to pay $400,000 for it, or $420,000 for it. Some markets it's $100,000 and over. California, I've heard some astronomical numbers that you pay over. So the money that you save in rate, are you really saving? If you're paying way more for the house than what it's worth, okay? You go out and you go spend countless hours looking for homes over and over again just to get outbid. You got 20, 30 people on one house. So when the rates were in 2% and 3%, that is what was going on. Today, you don't have to go through that. You can go out. There's plenty of inventory. You can find a house. Number one. Number two, you don't want to pay. Why would you want to pay more for something than it's worth? That's putting you in a bad position. It's putting you in a bad position. Let's go with today's saying, what we say in the mortgage industry. Date the rate and marry the house. The rate is here temporary. When rates drop, you refinance, but go out and find your home. Get your home and live in your home. I posted on Facebook, I think it was 2 days ago. I was looking at a community group, and they were asking for some advice. They said, hey, is this legal? My rent, I just got a 60-day notice that my rent is going up $1,242 in 60 days, and that's on top of what I'm already paying. Who wants to receive those type of notices? So we're worried and concerned about the wrong thing, Also, now sellers are helping out with closing costs. We see it all the time now. Sellers are helping with closing costs. So it's easier for you to buy a house with a rate in the sixes than it is for you to buy a house with the rates in the 2s and 3s. And so the last thing I wanted to point out was, why were the rates in the 2% and 3%? It was because we had a pandemic. And I asked people, when is the last time we had a pandemic? I mean, I'm sure it was all over the news. It was 100 years ago. So what are we waiting for? Are we going to wait 100 years to find historically low rates? Are we going to operate in the times that we have now? If you need to put your family in a home, if you don't want that knock at that door, that notice on the door, or the landlord phone call saying rent's going up, or even worse, now you need to go find a place to rent and move your kids from the school they're in, or move away from your nice commute to your job, your comfort surroundings, because now the landlord wants to sell the house. I mean, we need to not be so concerned with rates. We need to be concerned with stability, home stability. We need to be concerned with the wealth that you can gain. So that's my 2 cents on it. If you want to wait, that's fine. Mortgage companies were here when rates were at 2%. Mortgage companies were here when rates were at 18%. And they're going to be here when they're at 6 and 7%. So you choose the time that you want to buy. Nick, you have anything to say on that subject?
That's actually, brother, you've done that. I'm gonna clap it up for you. That was phenomenal. Great job. It's funny you said that. I was just on the airplane yesterday getting here. I got a chance to, somebody saw my lapel pin with Legacy Home Loans lapel pin. They asked me if I was in lending, and they told me a story. They're buying a property in Compton, Compton, California, and they had this ideal home that they've been looking at for months. And initially, when they wanted to buy a property similar to it, it's about 6 months ago, the property asking price was like $675. Okay, which means that the owner who bought that property 4 years ago, the property they purchased it for like $350.
Okay,
so the owner got $300,000 in increased appreciation. A lot of equity in the bag, right?
Right.
So $675. With the rates moving, 6 months later, he just told me he could close a property in that same block for $610, $65,000 lower, and the seller covered his closing cost, which means that he basically got into the property $60,000 lower, and he got 2% on closing costs, which means he got about $75,000 reduction,
right,
with price and closing costs out of his pocket, because inventory and buyer demand has squeezed so much that if you are focused on becoming a homeowner,
right,
now is a phenomenal time to set the terms in terms of negotiating that price point, because sellers have so much equity. Give you some context really, really, really quick. The equity that Americans have in their property today is at the highest level in 45 years.
Wow.
Which means that owners are sitting on so much equity. So that person, for example, think about that owner. He's thinking in his mind, okay, I can get $675, but the market's squeezed, rates are going up, so that payment is going up too. He sells at $60,000 less, but he still walks away with $300,000, the owner.
Wow.
Do you see what I'm saying to you? And so it's like, if people spoke to people like yourself who understood the market fundamentals, now is a great time to get the deal into your idea. I love that, date the rate, marry the home, because in 6 months when rates do come back down, you walk in with the equity.
Right.
You have that money in your pocket that would have been closing cost, and you refinance that rate anyway in 6 months. When everybody else is going to come back in 6 months when rates come lower,
right,
and now it picks up buyer frenzy, price points go back up again. If you look at every recession, I know you said that you have a great opinion about this, but let me give you some quick facts.
Yes, definitely.
If you go back and look at the last 6 recessions in America, 1974, 1980, 1987, 1990, the dot-com of 2000, and 08.
Right.
Okay? And if you look at where the price points were at prior to the recession, and then 3 years later, if you look at every single recession, on average, the price of the property increases 32%, 28 months after the recession starts. And so I think ultimately, if anybody has a long-term play to build wealth through real estate, now is the time to get out of the seat into the game, because most people are out of the game.
There you go. See, you heard it. You heard it from Nick. Nick not only is the senior VP of Legacy Home Loans, but not too long ago, he sat in a seat just as I sat in. So he had his ear to the ground and was out there as a branch manager, a loan officer doing loans. So he understands what we are going through as branch managers and loan officers. That's why, he brings a wealth of knowledge to the industry through Legacy Home Loans, and feeds it down to his managers so that we can feed it out to the general public. And you heard that, that's awesome information. If you heard what he said, he's an intellectual. So let me break it down for you. Let me unpack it for you a little bit. What he said is, get off the sidelines, get in the game, and go purchase a house, because after each recession, the historical facts say that the house jumped up greatly in equity.
32%.
32%. So why wouldn't you want to buy now? I know it's Sunday morning. I know you may be getting ready for church. I'm not a preacher, but I think there's a verse in the Bible that says the wide road is the road to destruction. You want to take the narrow road. So why everybody's sitting on the sidelines? If you're blessed to be listening to the Home Loan Coach this morning, and you want more information on how you can gain generational wealth and not just hear people talk about it, but really get the facts on how to gain generational wealth, you know what to do. It's 702-670-0518. 702-670-0518. We got people standing by on Sunday to take your call and get you started if that is your desire. If you're not a procrastinator and you're ready to jump in the game, it's Haskins Team Homeloans.com. Haskins Team Homeloans.com is where you want to go for more information as well on doing an application. So you heard it. You heard it from Nick Goucher, Senior Vice President of Legacy Home Loans. You heard it from the Home Loan Coach. I'm going to be here every week telling you the same story, however way you need to hear it. Get off the sideline, get in the game. Please give me a call to talk more about how you can create generational wealth. We have 2 locations in the Las Vegas area to serve you. If you live closer to the south end of town, we're at Town Square. We have staff that can come in and meet you there. We also have a location on the north side of town for people who live up on the north side of town on Rancho and Gowan. So we're here. We're accessible. We are accessible to help all of your home loan needs. I want to remind you that we can help you if you're a first-time home buyer. If you're a move-up buyer, your family's growing, you need a bigger home, we can assist you with getting qualified for that newer, bigger home. Say you're an empty nester. Everybody's moved out. You need to move down. You don't want the 2-story home anymore. You want to get a single-story home. We're here to help you. Now's the time. You heard it. You heard it right here on the Home Loan Coach and Friends. It's time to buy. This is a great time to buy. If you're a seasoned investor and you need to build that portfolio, we can help you with that as well. In Las Vegas, I know we have friends and family, tourists that come here all the time listening to the radio. Keep in mind, I can help you in several states across the country. Legacy's in about 38 states. So chances are we can help a friend, family member out there, anywhere you need help at, we can help you. So I want to thank you all for tuning in this morning. We'll be back same time, 7 a.m. next Sunday morning, right here at 91.5 KUNV. And I want to give my guest the last word here as our time is about up.
I'm honored. You are doing a phenomenal job growing our market. I know we had a chance to bring you on a couple years ago, but it's always about the right timing.
Yes.
For you. And so you have done a phenomenal job restoring momentum in this marketplace. And Las Vegas is now becoming quickly our premier market in this country because of you and lovely Mrs. Haskins and your team. So phenomenal job. We're going to change the narrative of Black home ownership in this country. We have an opportunity to help people understand that we're going to enter into the last boom opportunity in our lifetime. Now is a phenomenal time to get yourself in the game. If you are confident in your job stability and you believe that you want to build wealth through home ownership, we should be doing business together.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. That's our time. We'll see you next week.